What's going on, my friends? So in this series, we're going to cover the one fatal flaw that's keeping most coaches stuck and preventing them from ever scaling their business to the heights that they actually desire. And further, we'll be covering the exact sales systems, but also the lead generation strategies that you can implement right away to scale your business to 30K cash months and beyond. So plug in, pay attention, and get ready to start achieving these higher highs in your business right away, because this is about to be a powerful session. If you implement these strategies, I promise you that the days of struggling to get by, the days of struggling with just 2 or 3 or 4K cash months in your business are going to be behind you. So if you're ready, plug in, pay attention, maybe take a few notes, because this is going to be a good one. Cheers. In this training, we're going over the step-by-step process that you'll need to implement to finally scale your business to 10, 15, 20, and 30K cash months and beyond in the next 60 days, okay? And this is using our systems here at Sales Scaled. By implementing these processes, you'll be taken from a struggling and stressed out AFC, average frustrated coach, to a highly leveraged coach and strategist who's capable of scaling their business without getting burnt out in the process. Now, on this note of burnout, one thing I'd like to just highlight right away is that most coaches don't realize this, but this right here is the fatal flaw that kills their business in the water. This right here is the reason why most coaches will never get past even a 10K month. Forget a 20 or 30K month, but this is why most coaches will never even get above 6 or 8K. Okay, it's that the average closing rate in online coaching is between 10 and 20%. That's a verifiable fact. You can go and Google it right now if you wish. But most coaches have never stopped to consider this. And as a result, they end up on this hamster wheel of trying the same things over and over again, but it just can't work. Because if you look at these numbers, to do 20K months with a 3K price point, it means we need to close 8 to 10 people, depending on the cash collected. Okay, well, 8 people with a 10% closing rate means we need to pitch 8 to 100 people, 80 to 100 people. And if an average sales call is an hour long, that's 80 or 100 hours. But further, this is people pitched, and not everybody we get on a sales call is even qualified to be pitched. So realistically, we're probably talking about 120, 160, or almost 200 sales calls. That's 200 hours of sales calls. Forget your time creating content, thinking about content, putting out content, serving clients, doing your marketing to get calls in the first place. This right here is unmanageable as a one-man team. And this right here is why most coaching businesses go out of business. It's why most people fail. It's that with a 10% closing rate, your task of scaling your business is damn near impossible. Okay, versus, and we'll cover this shortly, but the average closing rate for clients of mine is 70%. And the consequence of this is that they only need to pitch 12 to 14 people in order to get those 8 clients. Look at the difference there. This guy right here, the average frustrated coach, needs to pitch hundreds of people to get 8 clients. A client of mine, 12 or 14 people, and he has it in the bag. Okay, so first things first is, even if this was possible, consider who would you rather be? The guy that needs to do 160 hours of sales calls, or this guy, right, who just implements the right processes and strategies so we can get this 70% closing rate. And we'll talk about exactly how that's done now in a moment. But firstly, who is this offer for? Okay, this is for you if you have a validated high ticket offer. This is not some get rich quick scheme for noobs on the internet. This is only for online coaches who've been around for a while. You have an offer, it's validated, you've sold it at least a handful of times, and further, you help clients overcome challenges in their dating life, their marriages, maybe their mindset. And the challenges you help these guys overcome, you faced as part of your own hero's journey. Okay, and now you're helping clients overcome these very same challenges. Further, you're a highly motivated man, right? You're a savage, you have the work ethic, and you can tap into that kind of warrior mode and get it done. You're like a high testosterone dude, but just right now you don't have the clarity on how to make this shit happen, right? And with the right processes, with clarity, the right direction, you can execute and make this stuff happen. And you're looking to stack cash and build financial freedom and become resilient and anti-fragile. As I'm recording this, it is the 28th of February. It is an election year after all. So if you're watching this and you're this kind of guy with an online business, you're working with men, you're working within these niches, we're probably aligned on the belief that a lot of bullshit has taken place in the last forever, right? But in the last 5 years, some of this stuff has really accelerated, and we are in an election year now, so it's likely to accelerate again. And as a result, you know, you're helping men claim responsibility for their own lives, step into strength. And there's that age-old adage that strong men create good times and good times create weak men. I personally believe their agenda is creating weakness. And if you're watching this, it probably means you're out here trying to inspire strength. Okay, so fucking kudos to you, my man. You're fighting the good fight in our own unique way. Okay, and that's powerful. Right, but right now you find yourself saying, if only I could get more calls, if only I could get more leads in the business, then I wouldn't be experiencing these peaks and valleys and feasts and famines in my business. Right now, you're probably reliant on referrals or maybe inbound leads into your business in order to get clients, but you're experiencing firsthand that that is just not sustainable to really grow to the levels you want to get to. Okay, right now you're posting content on all the different platforms, but it feels like you're getting pulled in 1,000 different directions and not a lot of results to show for it. Now, I kind of jumped ahead of myself. I revealed why this is happening. But as you can see, if you got this 10% closing rate, you really can't get enough calls as a one-man team to make this happen. So the first fatal flaw is this right here. It's about the closing rate. Now, why do most coaches suffer this 10% closing rate? Well, simply put, it's that they aren't building enough certainty in the prospect. So the name of the game in sales is that we build so much certainty that getting the commitment from the prospect becomes easy, because this right here is fundamental in sales and even in relationships as a whole, that we're asking, say, a woman for her hand in marriage. That's a big commitment. In order to make that commitment, she's got to feel certain. And it's the same thing in sales. If the one objects to our proposal, to our commitment, it's because we haven't built enough certainty, aka she has doubts. So when it comes to sales and selling, the reason why most coaches have a 10 or 20% closing rate is simply that they're not building enough certainty. And as a result, they're hearing things like, oh, that's a lot of money, or, oh man, I need to speak to my finances. Can you send me more info? I want time to think about it. All of these objections stem from the prospect's lack of certainty. So if you were to build enough certainty, 99% of these objections never even come up in the first place. So this whole piece here is how you can make lead generation actually work. Because my friend, I gotta be honest, if I had a 10% closing rate, like the lead gen systems that I have in place, the team that I have implementing this, they're excellent. But if I was closing 10%, man, I'd be fucking burned to a crisp if I had to take 160 calls a month, okay? I just wouldn't be able to manage that energetically and still be able to function, okay? So the thing that allows me to make this happen, and the thing that allows clients of mine to make this happen, is that when you build so much certainty, you don't face objections. When you build all of this certainty, you don't need that many calls. If you have a 70% closing rate, you're only going to need to take 3 or 4 calls a week. And that's easy to fulfill upon, believe me. Okay, now maybe right now you're saying, well, Matt, that's all well and good, but I can have 100% closing rate. I'm not getting any calls at the moment. So if you're thinking that you're just a step ahead of me at the moment, go to that next training in a moment once we're finished here. In that next training, I'll actually take you through the seductive marketing process and how we get calls booked in our calendar with ready to buy prospects every single week, and how you can do the same. Okay. So the key here, however, you could copy, you could copy these exact same processes for lead gen. So you could copy the exact same outreach scripts that we use. You could copy word for word the CTAs that are working for clients. You could have established this message market resonance. Right, so you could have content that's really resonating with your audience, and you could be positioned as an expert, and you could be getting calls booked in the calendar. But if you have a 10% closing rate, or 20, or even a 30% closing rate, this whole thing is not going to work. Okay, so this is where I'm different than a lot of the different marketing gurus out there. They sell you a lie, that they tell you that it's just, they kind of feed into the fallacy that the only thing keeping you stuck is calls. That's not true. Okay, because as we saw up here, you could be getting all the calls in the world with a 10% closing rate. It's not really going to matter. Okay, versus the average for clients of mine, as I said, is 70%. Here we've got some proof. Just scroll up and down the web page here where you're seeing this video, and look at these client results. Watch these interviews. You know, some of these interviews are pretty in depth. They're like 15 minutes long, 11 minutes long. This is probably being updated with Matt Enns, his testimonial here. So I just did a catch-up session with Matt Enns, and 10 weeks after getting started implementing these processes, he was able to hit a 70K cash month. Okay, so that's incredible. How is it that clients of mine are able to do this stuff? On one end, yes, it's the lead gen strategies, but it wouldn't be possible without these sales processes. And again, the name of the game in sales is building so much certainty that these objections don't even come up in the first place. Now, how is it that we do that? So the process is called the SEGIT system. As you can see here, SEGIT, there it is. So that's situation, emotion, gap, enlighten, and transform. In essence, we need to find out exactly where the prospect is. What is their current pain aisle, their current situation? What is their desired future result? What are they feeling at present in terms of the pains, fears, anxieties, and frustrations? And what's keeping them stuck? We want to find out, right? We want to find out, where are we? We want to find out that situation, where they are right now. We want to find out the emotion, how are they feeling? We want to find out in gap, what have they tried in the past? Have they tried working with other coaches? Have they tried different solutions? Why did they think those things haven't worked? And then lastly, we want to identify what's keeping them stuck, or what they think is keeping them stuck. And once we have all this information, situation, emotion, gap, we can then enlighten them on how our process is different. Okay. Now, if you go ahead you click the gold button below, so it's going to look like this guy right here. So if you click this button, you're going to go to the lead gen training, where we'll show you the organic lead gen methods that we're using with the seductive marketing process to get calls booked in our calendar, but also clients of ours calendar, and have these guys show up ready to buy. Okay, so really, really powerful stuff. So go ahead and click that now to be taken to the lead gen training. Okay, further on that page, you're going to be invited to come and jump on a call with me. And on that call, we'll be able to go deep and get crystal clear on how to use all of these processes, not from a high level, but we'll get crystal clear on exactly where you are or where you're looking to go and how to tailor these systems and strategies for you. And part of a bonus for getting booked in on that call is I'm going to send the SEGIT system questions, so the scripts that we use and clients of ours use, right, that Ollie here used to get this 2.5K sale, that Nathan used to collect 15K, right, that Gene used here to do his 10K cash month, etc. Okay, so you're going to get those lead gen, you're going to get those SEGIT system scripts, but further, go ahead and get that call booked in, and I'm going to send you over the exact lead generation scripts that I actually give clients. Okay, so you're going to get both of those things before the call, and then show up onto that call. We'll tailor all those things to you so you can start closing those high ticket guys. Okay, peace, my friend. Hit that gold button, and I'll see you in the next round.